sore symptoms. I know, and I'm sweating. It was a lot. That's when I realized I have really bad allergies down in Northern California. I was all, right? Right? Oh, so do I. Yeah, one night in Thunder. Oh, good stuff. Too much hotel space. We got it. We got it. Anyway. Oh, yeah. How are you?
All right, good evening, everyone. Good evening. It was louder. Order! There shall be order in the chambers. All right, thank you everyone for coming tonight. We've got a packed agenda and a packed house, so we are going to get started. Oh, that's not me.
Test.
Test.
Testing. Are we
Testing.
better?
Is that better? Louder. We're getting votes for louder.
Testing. Test.
Test.
We'll just get really close.
More.
Wow.
More.
Testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well done.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. We have no report out from closed session, correct? Great. We will go ahead and call this regular council meeting to order, June 1st, 2026. Councilmember Amara, will you please lead us in the pledge? That sounds nice with a full chamber here. Thank you, guys.
Who's participating?
All right. We have a couple wonderful commendations, proclamations tonight. We are going to start. Oh, roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Councilmember Holmes is not present at this time. Councilmember Amara? Present. Dowden Calvillo? Present. Holmes, I just mentioned that. Riddell Harris? Here. And Mayor Davis?
Present. Okay, we did the pledge. Mayor's commendations. We'll start tonight with Supervisor Gustafson.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for accommodating my kind of crazy schedule, almost as crazy as city council members. I'm Cindy Gustafson, District 5 Supervisor, and I'm here tonight on behalf of our county CEO and all of our Board of Supervisors. We minted a special coin for the 175th year of Placer County, and as all of you know, this county was formed in District 5 between Auburn, Forest Hill, Yankee Gyms, all of the metropolises that I get to represent all the way up the hill. But it truly was the mining camps, the gold industry that formed our county, and the leaders of this community stepped up and went to the state legislature to form this county. So it's only due to the incredible people we had, and will have, that this county can continue to be successful. And I wanted to present each of you with this coin for all of your hard work, and you can pass it on to whoever you'd like. And I'm sure we could get more if we need to. But I wanted to thank that. And then, obviously I didn't know when we decided this was the meeting I would come to do this, that we'd also be honoring Steve Galliard. And since I have to run to Forest Hill to be at another meeting, I wanted to say what an incredible man who's done so much for this community, and so proud to have gotten to know he and Leslie and all of their devotion to this community. It's what started our county and what keeps it going, and our city, and keeping everything healthy and good. So with that, I'm going to present it to each of you.
Thank you. Would you like a photo? Thank you so much. Aw. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supervisor. We really appreciate that. Auburn, the only city in the state of California to be the county seat for two counties. We originally were seat for Sutter and then for Placer. So that's great. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Drive safe.
Safe journey.
Thank you for me.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right, next we have a proclamation for Pride Month, and council wants to share the proclamation. So we're all going to read it, and then we'll call up our representatives to say a couple words and take a photo. Does that sound good? Okay, great.
Okay, I get to start. Pride Month, June 2026. Whereas the City of Auburn is committed to being a welcoming and inclusive community where all people are treated with dignity and respect.
Whereas LGBTQ and individuals are valued members of our community and continue to contribute to the cultural, civic, economic, and social life of Auburn. And
whereas Pride Month is celebrated each June in recognition of the 1969 Stonewall Uprising, an important event in the movement for equality and civil rights for LGBTQ and plus individuals. And
whereas Pride Month is an opportunity to celebrate diversity, promote understanding, and recognize the importance of creating a community where everyone feels safe, supported, and accepted. And whereas the City of Auburn encourages kindness, compassion, and respect for all residents and visitors. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Kelly Davis, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Auburn, hereby proclaims the month of June 2026 as Pride Month in the City of Auburn, and encourages all community members to celebrate diversity and continue working towards a welcoming and inclusive community for all.
And Bolo agrees.
Is Sue Thompson? Sue Thompson? Come on up. Come on up. You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. First, I want to thank our mayor and members of the City Council. I want to thank you for recognizing Pride Month here in Auburn. This is our second year, isn't it? Third? Very good. Your leadership sets the tone for the kind of community that we all want to live in. It's about neighbors supporting one another, treating each other with kindness and respect, and a place where everyone feels comfortable being who they are. Auburn has always had a strong sense of community, and moments like this help to strengthen that even more. When we choose to be inclusive and welcoming, we make our city better for everyone. Thank you, Mayor, council members, for your leadership and recognition for making Auburn a place where everyone can thrive.
Hi there, my name is Daniela Zimmerman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm an ally and board president of the Placer LGBTQ Plus Center, which is in Roseville, but I am an Auburn resident and I am a proud Auburn resident. Thank you for being so welcoming to my friends and family members in the LGBT community and those who love them. It's an emotional thing to feel accepted and welcome where you maybe grew up, where you live, where you work, where you go to school. Thank you so much. If you would like to be in the photo.
Yeah, anyone who wants to come up and be in the Pride Month photo, please feel free to come up to the front.
We'll have public comment during public comment. Or it's- Sorry. All right. Yes, you are going to read page number 1. Yep. All right. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Yes, yeah, exactly. All right. Sorry as we fumble through this, we're trying to make sure we get as many like hugs and love around you, Steve. So tonight we are recognizing Steve Galliart we're going to read, no shortage of things to recognize. And so we're going to read the proclamation. We will invite our planning commissioner, Steve Hyatt, up. Does this seem right? Okay. And I think there will be more kind words said along with that. Does that sound good to you, Steve? Would you like to stay there as long as possible, or do you want to come up and be? Oh, come on
I
up.
think we should go over there.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
You. Oh, I am. Well, I get to read first, and I just have to say, Steve has been my planning commissioner since 2020, but we've known each other since 2000 at least, and had the pleasure of serving together on the planning commission. And when I was elected for my second tenure, it was a no-brainer to appoint Steve. So This is a bittersweet. I know that you've got greener pastures, but we're going to miss you so much. So I'm going to start this off with the first page of your resolution. Whereas Steve has dedicated countless hours of service, leadership, and commitment to the Auburn community through decades of volunteerism, civic engagement, and community partnership. And Steve has continuously demonstrated exceptional leadership and generosity through his service on numerous boards, commissions, and organizations that have strengthened and enriched the Auburn community. And Steve served as president of the Sutter Auburn Faith Hospital Board of Directors from 2011 to 2012. Steve has provided invaluable financial stewardship and leadership as treasurer of the Boys and Girls Club Board of Directors and as treasurer of the Auburn Rotary Club for more than 10 years, following his membership beginning in 2002. And Steve has contributed significantly to the business and economic vitality of Auburn through his service on the Downtown Business Association Board of Directors, the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, including serving as president in 2007, and as chair of the Chamber's Economic Development Forum, known as the Meddlers, for more than a decade.
And whereas Steve has devoted years of service to the City of Auburn through his work on the Economic Development Commission and 10 years on the Planning Commission, helping guide thoughtful growth and development within the community. And whereas Steve has also played an instrumental role in fostering community spirit and collaboration through his leadership as chair of the Festival of Lights Parade for approximately 15 years. As a 18. Madam Clerk. As a founding board member of Think Auburn First, and through his involvement with Project Auburn. And whereas Steve's dedication, professionalism, and unwavering passion for Auburn have left a lasting and meaningful impact on the community and the many people fortunate enough to work alongside him, so much so that he was recognized as the recipient of the prestigious McCann Award in 2019 for his outstanding contributions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Kelly Davis, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby express our sincere gratitude and appreciation to Steve Galliart for his extraordinary service, leadership, and commitment to the Auburn community, and extend our best wishes to Steve as he begins his exciting new chapter out of state. And we are, here, you want to present?
Oh, yes.
The council has a gift for Steve tonight.
Bet you can't guess what this is. This is a commemorative clock for Steve, Planning Commission 2016 to 2026, in grateful appreciation for your dedicated service to the Auburn community. Thank you, Steve. Thank you again.
Don't go anywhere. I'd like to call up Planning Commission Chair Steve Hyatt and Glenn Kramer.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, you've heard all of the incredible accomplishments that Steve has made over the years. I don't have a whole lot to add to that, other than the fact that, if I remember correctly, Steve's first got involved with the city back over 25 years ago as a member of the chamber, and then went on to become president of the chamber. And that led to all of the other things that was already discussed. But on behalf of the Planning Commission and the Historic Design Review Commission, we would like to give you a gift as well to say our appreciation for all that you have done to the Planning Commission and the HDRC. Now, our gift is not a lot of words. However, it's something that we hope that you can make good use of. It is Planning Commissioner in recognition of 10 years of outstanding service, and inside there you will find a nice gift that you might be able to imbibe in when you are up in Seattle.
Well, that's a good start. Nice bottle of wine. Thank you so
And it's a local wine to help you remember all the days you had here in Auburn. And thank you very much for all of your service. Want to get a picture here?
Can I just?
Yes.
Well, Glenn Kramer, I just wanted to say, as a planning commissioner, having served in 2 cities over almost 30 years, Steve has been an outstanding planning commissioner, a level head, and I have been honored to serve with him and will miss him and wish him well.
Bridget, yeah, sorry, I know there's a few more people.
I'm not going to talk much about Rotary because they're here today, but I just wanted to thank Leslie for falling in love with Steve and marrying him and keeping him here. Let's give Leslie. I remember a certain black and white ball on a dance floor, and that I knew that was it. So, come on, Leslie. I love you. I have known Steve since he started work at a little old bank called Union Bank right here in town, and he said, what do I do? How do I get involved? And all of a sudden he was everywhere. I think we've sat on Planning Commission, Rotary Board together. He's on my speed dial for whatever I need, how I need it. Thank you for supporting me in my career. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I have relatives nearby where you're moving, so you will see me. Don't worry. And thank you for giving Auburn everything you gave for Auburn. You're awesome.
I'd just like to mention that I did have to twist his arm. He was my planning commissioner first. But only because he had so many other things on his plate. It's the only reason I had to twist his arm, but it was one of the better appointments I ever made in my life, I'll say. And as a friend, a traveling companion with Leslie and Randy and I, we will sincerely miss them, but it's not going to keep us from traveling. We're only 640 miles away, is that what it is? Anyway, God bless you, Steve. You've been a real gem for our city, and we obviously all appreciate you very much, and we'll miss you, and hope we can drag you into some things anyway, even though you're living up there. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Jim Holmes for the record, 3641 Bell Road, North Auburn. Just in case you didn't know. You know, I was one of the original meddlers when we met out way back, this is for your time, it was a restaurant out in North Auburn. We had coffee and donuts, and it was just a BS session. Everybody enjoyed each other, and then it grew, meddlers grew. And you were the chair of the Chamber of Commerce when we did the 100th anniversary of the Chamber. I remember that, yeah. But your leadership throughout the city with everything you had got done and accomplished is to be recognized. I am very grateful that I got to know you all these years. I don't have one of your little bikes, but I'm ready, I'm going to. But I just want to, you know, as behalf of the original meddlers and those who are here, I just want to thank you, Steve, for all you've done for your community. And you ran that meddlers meeting with dignity. You were graceful to everyone, and it was always a pleasure to see you there. So congratulations.
I usually don't do this stuff, but there are people in different, people in communities that have their thumbprint on the way that communities have developed over many different years, right? And I think that we can all attest to the legacy that you're going to leave here. You've done a great job, obviously, for the city. But personally, I just wanted to say thank you for making me join Rotary. Steve told me that every other manager, like going 6 managers back, was a member of Rotary, and I was expected to do so as well, and so I did that. I didn't have any choice but to do that, but anytime I needed anything or advice on something, you're the first person I called. So thank you. I appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you because Leslie was one of my second moms growing up. Is that I grew up with her daughter Amanda, and I'm excited to know you guys are starting your next chapter, moving to support her. So thank you, and it's just been a fun full circle thing. So thank you so much.
Wow, this is really overwhelming. As our city clerk knows, I didn't want to be here. And I did everything I could not to be here to do this because I'm not really comfortable with this. I'm better back behind doing things than doing this. I want to thank you. I owe this city so much more than what you guys have put out here. I built 2 businesses in this town. I met my wife. And this town welcomed me when I came in, and it's always been that way. And I do what I have done because I loved our city, and I love the people in it. So I just want to thank all of you for this, and I'm really, really humbled. So thank you.
Come on up here. I think we're all lingering to get a photo. All right, thank you again, Steve, and you've left a wonderful footprint here in town. Big shoes to fill. Moving on, we have adoption of the agenda. This is the time set aside for council members and or the public to ask for removal, postponement, or a change to the listed sequence of an agenda item. The agenda will be approved by consensus of the council.
Madam Mayor, I would like to move up the Youth Commission's presentation to next before the consent calendar.
All right, I'm fine with that.
I totally agree.
All right, any other requests? All right, any requests from the public? All right, with that one switch, we will approve the agenda and start with the Youth Commission presentation.
Okay. Can I have all the Youth Commission members up here, please? Take off my jacket. Woo-hoo. Right. So, we want to do our presentation. Slide is up. Have our order. Who's first? Here, I'll do a little intro first. I'll do a little intro. Do you guys want to come over here so that way they can see whoever's talking? Perfect. Okay, so this is our second year having the Auburn Youth Commission, and these are some of the commissioners behind me that worked very hard this year. They'll give a little background on what the purpose of the Youth Commission is and kind of what we did this year. We just are doing an annual report because we go during the school year, and so I'd like to introduce, who am I introducing first? Elliot is going to be speaking first. There he is, he's behind me.
Okay, the main purpose of Youth Advisory Commission is we wanted to get like the voice of all of the youth so that we could hear their opinions and what they wanted to like go on in Auburn. And we brought that to life. We had, oh wait, I'm not supposed to say that.
Right, so we meet very similar to how our city council meets. We meet monthly meetings to discuss ongoing projects, share updates, and gather input from our local youth. We've had the very good luck to have several members of our city staff come and walk us through their jobs, show us kind of how our city government is run. We've been very grateful to do that. We learn about local government through presentations by city staff and field trips. We've been to the police department. Last year we went to the waste department. We organize and implement community service projects to address local needs and encourage youth volunteerism.
Could you state your names before you talk? I'd love to know your names.
I was Professor X. Hi, I'm Jaylee. Our community service project this year, the Youth Commission decided to host a youth-focused booth at the Downtown Spring Fest as our community service project. The booth featured music, karaoke, a jewelry exchange, and voting for the Youth Choice Awards. And a special thank you to the Auburn Senior Center for donating all of their jewelry. They're very generous. And we had a lot of fun, and it was very successful.
Can you explain what a jewelry exchange is?
Oh, a jewelry exchange. So, like I said, we brought the Auburn Senior Center donated a lot of jewelry for us. We laid that out on our booth, and people would come and they would either make a donation and take their jewelry, or they could bring their own jewelry and exchange it for a piece that we already have.
Hello, I'm Bowie, and at our youth booth, we decided to vote on a lot of businesses that the youth actually enjoy and like to be at or be around. And the first business that we'd like to celebrate is Auburn Gymnastics for the Favorite Sports and Recreation Award.
Before, we're going to ask everybody to join us afterwards and take a picture up here. So if you hear your name after we announce all our awards, if you could come up to the front, that would be awesome.
Okay, the second award we decided to recognize was the favorite music and art in Auburn is Music Lab.
This had the most votes actually over anything, and we thought it was going to be the skate park. However, the Auburn youth voted, and their favorite place to go is the Auburn Bike Park.
And then for our favorite drinks in Auburn, Dutch Bros, of course, got popular vote.
For the favorite food in Auburn, the winner was burgers and cream.
For favorite places to shop in Auburn, we have Grocery Outlet and
Moonwalk Threads.
So if your name was called, if you could come join us at the front, we're going to give you your awards and we'll take a picture. So ARD, Bike Park, Auburn Gymnastics. Nathan, you can't hide back there. You got to come up too, man.
Keep going all the way to the side. Go on either side.
Wait, that's not next year's. Next year's. Wait, was that me taking the pictures? Because I'm not in it.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to present this one. All right.
So just so you all know, we went to both Kittapalooza and to Springfest, and we had tons and tons of kids writing on sticky notes where their favorite place to go and where their favorite place to eat was, and they all really enjoyed it. When we asked them at first, they were very confused. They had never thought about their favorite stuff, or no one had ever asked them before, so it was really fun to kind of pull the information out of them and get their opinions, and they were all really excited about it. So, since it's the end of the year, we're also going to be acknowledging our youth who have spent their year putting in extra time to be part of the Youth Commission, learn about our city, provide feedback to the council, and then also to put on this community event, booth at a community event. So, do you want to, maybe we'll, we have a couple that aren't here tonight, so we'll be filtering a little bit. First one is Jaylee Lake. We're gonna do a big picture too at the end too. And second is Bowie Kobzoff. Sorry, I always get that wrong. Congratulations. Asher Thompson. There we go. You guys can put down the extra ones over there if you want to. I also have a hard time with this last name, Cora Bourgo. Sorry, Cora Bourgo. Thank you. It's her second year, and I still am not master of her last name. Sorry about that. Elliot Stafford. There we go. And I think, did everyone get theirs? Oh, and Lena Harris is our mascot because she comes with me to all the meetings and loves doing all the stuff and goes to our events. And I'm going to do a quick acknowledgement to the adults who helped out because I cannot, there's 15 kids and that's a lot, and it takes some adult support to make events like this happen. And so I wanted to say a big thank you to Jay Ross. So it's her second year. And to Sarah behind me, thank you. And then, I don't know if Audrey knew what she was getting into this year. She was like, Mark just told me I should sign up for this thing. And then we kept her very busy this year. And so she's not going to be joining us next year, but we wanted to say thank you. And we got you a little card. Thank you for your really appreciate it. All right. I think that's the last slide. Is there any? Oh, next year. Oh, sorry. You have the next year slides.
Yes. Okay, for our 2026 to 2027 applications for next year, they're open on the city website, and they're open to students grades 6 through 12, and applications are due June 5th. So
if you know anyone going to the 6th through 12th grade, tell them to apply. It's not a hard application, and it's a lot of fun. So you guys want to come? We'll take a quick picture of the group of us with the council members. You can fold open your award so we can see it. So fold the back over. There you go. And you're all excused because you guys either have school or just got out of high school and don't want to be here tonight. Not that our budget isn't riveting, but good night, guys.
Thanks, kids. Great job.
Excellent job, and congratulations to all the businesses and locations that got voted best. For a teenager to say you're the best of the best, I think that says a lot because they won't always say what they like. All right, moving on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one blanket motion with a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless persons request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for discussion and separate action. Any items removed will be considered after the motion to approve the consent calendar. Do we have any requests from council? Nope. Any requests from the public? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, I think we probably need to wait for, this is three of us. But
We can call the roll, and then we can add
Okay.
Councilmember Riddell Harris when she comes back.
Okay, so Councilmember Amara.
Yes.
Dowden Calvillo.
Aye.
Mayor Davis.
Aye.
We'll just
right.
hold open the roll call vote until, so that she can add her name.
Sounds good. Consent calendar passes. Public comment. This is the time provided so that the public may speak to the council on any item not on this agenda. Please make your comments as brief as possible, not to exceed 3 minutes. The council cannot act on items not included on this agenda. Items may be referred to staff or placed on future agenda items.
Thank you, Mayor Davis, council members, city manager. Thank you for 3 minutes. First of all, I just want to acknowledge, although River is an amazing dog, it's not her barking, but it is our wonderful canine dog, so I'm okay with it, entertaining us. I want to thank council for just now putting on the consent calendar the approval for the shack budget for next year. I'm sorry about the confusion on our last meeting. I was actually in Memphis, Louisville, Knoxville, and just got home last night at about 1 a.m. So I was not able to attend that meeting to explain to you why we request those funds. On June 23rd, 2026, from 5:30 to 6:30, the shack committee, and Miss Carol is on the committee with me. We'll be having a unveiling of our 2026 tiles, and you know we've had some groundbreaking tiles come up, including a 25th anniversary for Auburn Leadership Auburn 2004, best class ever. And sorry, can't help myself. We're having special character reenactments. It's going to be right there in Central Square. I strongly urge all of you to attend. I'm sure you'll be hearing from Carol and Kim Haswell and Chris, all our other board members. I think I've been on that committee now almost 20 years, it seems like. So if you need anything, let me know. But looking forward to seeing you all there. And then my one other public comment, which thank you for not charging me 3 minutes. We are also going to have a Rotary Peace Park park unveiling. We have a lot of volunteer opportunities. We're going to have some mulch arriving for the sustainable side, but the Rotary Peace Park side, we managed to do it right before your council meetings from 4 to 5:30. So we won't have any alcohol, but we will have beverages and some light refreshments. And the mayor is planning on speaking, as well as some key contributors like Mengel and the city manager, to making this Peace Park happen. Anyway, thank you so very much. That's on the 22nd. So you're gonna have
Is that at what time is that, Bridget?
well, it's all kind of in the works. Like I said, I just got back in town, and we just agreed to the date, and it's June 22nd from 4 to 5:30. So no early closed session, city manager. Let's just make this all about the fun and all about community and bringing us all together, especially after seeing all these kids in the youth commission. It just melts my heart to see all of that. Did you have a question, council member? Yeah, you have to be here because you have a meeting. It's sure to be a good time. So the 22nd, 23rd, we're going to have a great all about Auburn.
Is there a specific volunteer need you have maybe this weekend? Is it mulch?
It's for what my Rotary Club.
You're not on you're on the sustainability.
I'm not on.
I think that just happened.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just got some emails back and forth for the 13th from 8 to like 3 or something like that. That's happening, but that's also the Forgotten Soldiers event that night. And so there's a lot of activities, but if you could give an hour or two, Mayor, we would love to see you there.
Thank you.
13th. Yeah.
Hello, Mayor Davis and City Council. My name is Sue Engel. I'm a resident of Roby Point. And the reason I'm here today is on Saturday, I think most of you know, we had graduation, which everybody likes a good party and likes a good celebration. And I celebrate all those that graduated. The only problem I'm having is after graduation, there was a lot of this stuff laying all over the neighborhood or surrounding the high school. It's Mylar. This is not biodegradable. They're throwing litter out. The wind catches it. It goes into the neighboring businesses. It goes to the neighboring residents. Who's supposed to be picking this up? Is this the city of Auburn's problem, or is this the school? But here's the deal. I just rode by it on my bike today, and it still isn't cleaned up. So I'm going to ask that the city please contact the school and explain that this is not acceptable to trash our neighborhoods and to litter, and that there's other ways we could celebrate, like maybe have bubbles, but pollution and littering is not acceptable. That's just me. I'm kind of trashy. That was my career.
Thank you, Sue.
You're not trashy. You are
Sue,
engaged
thank you
in
for
the world
bringing
of
that
trash.
to our attention, and that's important for all of us to work together to avoid that next time.
City Manager or Public Works, do you mind touching base with Placer? Thank you.
Hi, Glenn Kramer. Just to clarify, 6-1 today was the putting of the cardboard in the front, and the 13th will be the mulch party. So
What time does that start, the mulch party on Saturday?
I think it's at 8. I'm furiously looking for the email, but I haven't been able to find it, but I think that's what in the brain.
Thank you. Before it gets hot.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Think about it. Yes. Yeah, it's on the agenda. All right, any public comment from council? No public. Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to our public hearing. Notice to the public, City Council, when considering a matter scheduled for hearing, will take the following actions. First, presentation by staff.
I know. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I need to find the clicker before I get on. There we go. As you recall from my very dry presentation at the last city council meeting, we discussed streamlining ordinances and doing revisions to modernize our code. This is exactly what this is. So why are we here? One of the things is paint and awnings are a very insignificant and minor repair that is essential to the maintenance of a building. The process we currently have is very cumbersome. It is looked at by the public as creating barriers and obstacles to investment, and so we're looking to try to minimize those obstacles. Another thing this does is asphalt shingles are everywhere in our Old Town, downtown area. There are 3 tab for awnings. We'd like to encourage people to upgrade those with metal or masonry types of roofing, so we created a streamlined path that allows them to go through less than a hearing process to get those approved. So instead of looking at the cheaper version, which is the asphalt shingles, hopefully they'll invest in something a little bit nicer. The other thing is, we're a small operation right now. Tia is by herself in the planning department. And these types of applications can take a lot of time. They have to go to a public hearing. We're talking about paint and awnings. These are not they're not big ticket things. They're very easy to get through. But when you put it in a rack of 15 other applications, then it becomes just another one of those things that slows down staff. It's actually working very good, Amy. So if you just rewind real quick, 2024. We had a person here called Michelle Reeves. She was hired by the city of Auburn to look at businesses and see how we do get more people through retail doorways to spend money. She looked at it from the exterior of the building. She was looking at the glass or behind the glass, looking at lighting, looking at displays and how businesses could better display and present themselves. They looked at the awnings themselves, and in many cases she suggested removing awnings because they were covering up architectural features that transit windows and things like that. And then last thing she said is, and remember, let them paint their building. She literally said, you should let them paint their building. In fact, she coined a term for Auburn. Does anybody remember what she called Auburn?
Tan land or something like that.
Tan land. Yes, so she called us Tan land. And if you look in the background, these are actually her slides. You can see that, you know, there's quite a bit of tan going on there. There's nothing that really makes one building more distinct from another. There's no unique character. I have never seen a postcard with Upper Lincoln on it that looks, you know, that highlights the buildings. But what she wanted to highlight is you have seen postcards that look like that. So I don't even know where that is, but if you look at it, I would definitely like a holiday card that looks like that. So you have different colors in the buildings. Each one is unique. Each stands out. Each is a photo opportunity, and it creates a unique character and vibrancy. And, you know, as I was looking at this ordinance and driving down Auburn-Folsom Road, I get down to Folsom, and I look over there at their old town thinking, okay, you know, what do? I'll be danged, they got color. I mean, they've got, not all the buildings are identified or brightly colored, but they have a lot of unique character there, which sets them apart. So it's like, okay, well, what does, you know, our other, I wouldn't say competition, but all the other towns in this golden chain, what do they look like? I mean, Grass Valley, hey, wait, they have color in Grass Valley. You go to Nevada City, different colored buildings, different uniqueness, different character. And then, well, I'll go, there's a joke here in a sec. Wait for it. So around the same time that Michelle Reeves was here, we were working on a project with the form-based code. That's not dead, still moving forward, just kind of waiting behind the general plan. So it's offset for a period of time. In that, we had a streamlined process, just like we have here, except we originally were looking at the Sherwin-Williams historic color palettes, which was what we actually suggest for many people when they come and say, what color should I paint my building? And that was 65 colors. In fact, I'll give this to you while I'm talking. This is a rerun from last. So the Sherwin-Williams historic color palette is only 65 colors. And we started looking at, okay, what does Ace Hardware carry? Let's look at local businesses and how we might turn this into a little economic development. The warehouse paints, both of them carry Benjamin Moore. And started looking at theirs, and lo and behold, they also have a historic color collection. Now, both of them, both the Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore, talk about how they work with the Department of the Interior, Secretary of the Interior, for historic preservation and trying to create colors that are historically accurate to historic places. You'll notice none of these are like vibrant pastels, or, you know, it's not anything that's going to cause people to be like, wow, you know, how did they let this happen? It's all fairly neutral, but it's better than tan. And so, I didn't mean to, anybody who owns the Ninja Sushi's building, I don't mean to say that you're boring. It's just that this is the awning. And actually, if you look at it, they're both tan buildings, which again, just goes to the tan land thing. But the tan building with the awning over Milo there is definitely a much more suitable and attractive type of awning as compared to the Ninja Sushi 3-tab asphalt shingle. And I'm gonna get through these fairly quick, but same thing, tan building, Old Town. But then you look at the Carpe Bino, which, you know, Old Town has a lot more corrugated metal. It's kind of more their metal roofing theme. But being able to encourage somebody to do that on this type of building is kind of the overall goal. I know that the Astound cable building, that's not technically an awning, but again, it's a highly visible surface that could be then transformed into something more unique than just 3-tab shingle. I use the new Marketplace on Elm as an example of a nice looking metal awning. So what will this ordinance do? It's going to encourage investment in Old Town and downtown. It's going to streamline processes by expediting permits. It's going to reduce administrative workloads by eliminating public hearings. It's going to improve the business community and the public's perception of our responsiveness and our ease of work, or being able to work with the city. It's going to support a future facade improvement initiative that is actually already been initiated by the Downtown Business Association. They have set aside $10,000 in their budget in which they're going to create their own facade improvement grant program, and they're going to buy paint and materials. They're not paying for labor, but they will, after this is done, start paying for the paint so that people can actually get through this process. So after we're done, and should you ratify this ordinance and have it go into effect, I'll be doing a PR campaign to let people know that they can now do this building under certain, paint their buildings under certain conditions, and there's also funding available. That's part of the reason we're shuttling this thing forward now, is because even though the form-based code's kind of out there in the background, we want to start moving these projects forward as soon as possible, both for economic development purposes, but we have some buildings in the Old Town, downtown area that actually need maintenance, and this is a kind of a good excuse to push on those. So overall, it's still going to protect the historic character, architectural integrity. It doesn't change any of those unique features of buildings, and it's not going to overwhelm the historic districts. And I'm sorry, I had to use an AI thing. It was fun. So no more tan land. So just quick background. So May 5th, this went to public hearing. And at the public hearing, unanimously, the Planning Commission and the HDRC, well, they had two things to review. They had an ordinance, which is the same one you have in front of you, and they had a resolution, which the resolution's in the packet. They recommended approval of the ordinance as it was drafted by staff, and they passed the resolution, which adopts these colors upon ratification, or those two color palettes upon ratification of the ordinance. Now, the nice thing about this is in the future, now, because the way it's set up, they can change the colors, they can add colors to it, HDRC can, just by doing a resolution in the future and making that process a lot easier. And hopefully, you know, they'll realize that there's a lot of value in this, and maybe we'll start expanding into more color. I know Dallas Drake was here earlier, who's the Downtown Business Association president. He's been very outspoken about why do we regulate colors, just let them paint, it's a commercial district. That type of push may come in the future, and now they can do it via resolution. So this concludes my staff report.
Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and open this public hearing. And is there any public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Do we have any council comments or questions?
I do. Thank you, Jonathan. That's an excellent presentation for us, and excellent approach, and very good presentation in terms of what it could be. I love your AI there. I totally support color. I think it does a lot and helps our community. It will help us really clean up our town. It's an opportunity we have that goes along with the improvement, the facade improvement that the DBA wants, and they support it totally. So I think this is just very insightful, and I'm glad that everybody is supportive in terms of bringing this forward as soon as possible.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to say that I'm really pleased to see this come before us. I was at the presentation and really appreciated what the speaker had to say. And something that really caught my attention was the fact that color is not permanent.
Correct.
And, you know, someone who is, I am a staunch supporter of historic preservation, as many of us are, but that really hit home to me, is that color is not permanent. And I'm really glad to see this. I was a huge proponent once you started talking about the different pathways forward to improve our areas from a design perspective while still preserving its historic past. And so I'm very pleased to see this and looking forward to have it in effect so that we can make positive change for our community in a quick manner. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for bringing this forward. I'm always up for making things easier for our businesses, especially when it comes to maintaining their buildings, because I remember when you brought us a map once that showed where all the maintenance and upgrades to buildings had been. Most of them were not in Old Town and downtown,
Right.
because the processes were so challenging.
Right.
And so I'm glad we're working on that, because those are the places we really want to make sure that we're maintaining. So I really appreciate your time and effort put into this, and I'm looking forward to seeing some color.
Great. All right. I echo all of those comments. I think this is great. I'm looking forward to some color and the sun's in my eyes. I feel very.
Could I just note something for the record real quick, because people that haven't seen the ordinance, this does not affect unpainted buildings. Anything that is brick masonry currently cannot just be painted through this. It's only repainted structures.
Okay. Yep. All right. And any other questions or comments? All right, we can move on to council action. Is that a motion, Madam Clerk?
Are we taking action or just conducting the public hearing?
By motion, you'll hold the first reading of the ordinance.
Okay.
I move we hold a first reading of this ordinance.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Amara.
Yes.
Dowden Calvillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Holmes, would you like to vote on this item? I know you just arrived. Perfect. That was an aye. Councilmember Riddell Harris.
Aye.
Mayor Davis.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you'll let the record show, Councilmember Holmes has joined us. All right, moving on to council business. We will move on now to a presentation from Placer County Water Agency regarding upcoming pipeline construction project.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Jacobson. I'm an associate engineer at Placer County Water Agency. We're here tonight to present our Fulwiler to Garfield pipeline replacement project that'll be taking place later this year. This presentation will go over the project location, the summary, project summary and scope of work, construction timeline, as well as public outreach we plan to do. See, ooh, I have a laser. So the project takes place on Highway 49 north of I-80, going from north to south. We will be tying in to a stub we have at Sterling Avenue in Fulwiler, going across Highway 49 to Elm Avenue, down this private alleyway, and then back up Garfield to Shirley Street where we tie into an existing line, as well as a small stub here in the green area, just behind In-N-Out. The goal of this project is to replace older water facilities for continued reliability. These mains were installed between 1950 and 1967. We also would like to provide upsize highway crossing in anticipation of future development, as well as remove requirement for maintenance within the Caltrans right-of-way. I'll touch a bit more on those in the next few slides. So our scope of work, again, starting up at Fulwiler and Sterling, we're going to do 143 linear feet of 12-inch water main. And then once we reach Caltrans right-of-way within, once we reach Caltrans for Highway 49, we'll do a 12-inch within a 24-inch encasement via an open cut. This was originally, currently is an 8-inch line, so we have upsized that to 12-inch line to gain us some more capacity moving forward. And then once we reach Elm, we switch to 8-inch pipe and we go down the alley. This is the Circle K, and you have some smog shops and auto shops here. So going down there, we will reach Garfield where we head up and tie into a stub here at Shirley. We have another tie-in at McKenzie, and then again here on the southern end as well. We have one fire hydrant up here that we will be replacing. We will replace and reconnect 12 water service meters. We also have to go back to the intersection and remove this existing line that goes across the highway. Everything else will be abandoned in place. And then we will be resurfacing 32,375 square feet of pavement, which includes 11,930 square feet within the Caltrans right-of-way. That roadway resurfacing within Caltrans includes grinding down the top layer of asphalt and then repaving over that. Within the City of Auburn right-of-way, we will be repairing the trench per the city trench repair standard detail, which includes an extra foot of asphalt on each side of the trench, as well as an extra foot of slurry seal on top of that. Traffic control, we asked the contractor to provide traffic control plan per Caltrans standards. Within Caltrans right-of-way, there's only one lane may be closed at a time. We anticipate delays on Garfield Street, Fulwiler Avenue during the daytime from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then work within Highway 49 and the adjacent alley will be limited to night work only, as well as the service tie-ins for the as well as the service tie-ins for commercial services. We will also have flaggers present to direct traffic as needed. Our construction timeline, June 22nd, we are opening bids. October and November 2026 is when we anticipate we'll mobilize, with the bulk of the work being performed between fall of this year and early spring next year. The service outages for customers and the turning services over to the new mains will likely be early spring next year, as well as roadway resurfacing in 2027. And then in late spring, we anticipate project completion. As far as outreach, we generally do door hangers or individual notifications for water service outages. We also have automated phone calls we can send out to anyone who will be affected by any sort of outage. Notifications to neighboring residents, letting them know about night work. We'll do updates on our website and on social media, as well as targeted notifications to be sent out on Nextdoor, and news releases will be sent out to announce the award of the construction contract. Finally, to go over some system outages and what to expect, we do perform outages, water service outages. When we tie in commercial services to the new main, we will be making sure that those occur outside of business hours. Residential outages will occur during the day, and outages are not to exceed 8 hours or may not happen 2 days in a row. And the contractor is required to notify us 2 weeks ahead of the outage, so we have ample time to prepare and to let the public know. Here's our contact information if you have any questions or concerns about the project. Again, I'm the project manager. Heather Knutson is here. She's our owner representative. And that's the project. Any questions?
Great, thank you so much. I'm excited. I ride my bike in front of the smog shop, so I'm excited to have a resurfaced road there. Yeah, that's great. Do we have any comments or questions from council?
Just a quick comment. I appreciate the presentation and letting us know. I'd read through the packet, so I became familiar with what the plan is. But I appreciate that you came to our council meeting to present this information to the public so that folks are aware of the construction that's going on, that it will be a lengthy process in a pretty significant area. But we appreciate the investment. This is something, our water pipes, just like our wastewater pipes and storm drains, are old and need to be replaced in order to keep them functioning properly. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had a couple quick questions. How many residential customers do you plan on having outages for?
Of the 12 services, only 1 meter is residential.
Okay, so not very many.
Yes.
And then one of the things you talked about was you'll be putting in these new pipes, but you're going to be abandoning in place old pipes. We've had some challenges around abandoned infrastructure in the past. Is there any concerns with just, I don't know, staff? It may be a staff look into question just to make sure that we're so old, we have a lot of stuff that people just leave in place, and then we end up with all of this old stuff in the ground. So I just wanted to make sure we're not creating more problems by abandoning more stuff in the ground.
Yeah, I looked back at our public works director. He said that he's working with them to make sure that there aren't going to be issues like that.
Okay, we just constantly find stuff from 100 years ago, and so
I think the biggest thing is that we know that it's there, where in the past we don't.
Yeah,
so
that's
the
true.
fact that we know where it is helpful.
Okay, it tends to be whenever you want to dig something, you have to dig up all the old stuff that was there before. So if you're leaving stuff in place, it's just more stuff to dig up. The other question I had was, I saw on your timeline, but it didn't say how long are you expecting the traffic impacts for 49 specifically? Like it looks like a long time frame, but you're not going to have months of?
No,
okay.
It's the first wave will be as they're putting in the new pipe in there. That probably placing the new the encasement and then sliding the new pipe in is probably a couple of weeks.
Okay.
At the most. It all depends. It's going to be night work.
Okay.
So any issue they run into kind of tends to be exaggerated a bit at night. You can't just run to Home Depot and grab something to fix. But putting that in and then coming back and repaving it probably a few months later It shouldn't be, none of that should take too long. It's just the sequence of the project, 1,100. I think it's closer to 1,400 by the time we add everything together. It'll take a few months to do everything.
And then are you or Caltrans going to put up some signage to make people aware? Because a lot of people who aren't residents are driving through that area, getting to Grass Valley and all those folks.
Yeah, we'll have signs that'll be part of Caltrans's. Well, the contractor will submit to Caltrans their traffic control plans,
Okay.
and Caltrans does require that type of stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had one little question, came off of her questions. What is the material of the new pipe?
The 8-inch pipe is PVC, and the 12-inch pipe will be ductile iron pipe.
Okay, and what's the old pipe?
Ooh, I know we have, I think it's all steel, I want to say. And then I know what's going through the intersection is not encased. Pardon me, is not encased. And part of the reason we do the encasement is so if there's any sort of repairs or even replacement in the future, we stay outside of Caltrans in either Elm or Fulweiler and expose that pipe, pull it out, and put a new one right in its place.
Oh, I see, slips, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
All right, thank you so much. Do we have public comment? Yeah, come on up.
Oh, can you come up and talk in the microphone?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's on the record. Sorry, because we videotape it for everybody, so they can know what your question is too.
And they've done a lot of work on Highway 49, expanding it, and sidewalks, and so it's a lot of night work, and it's loud, and makes it hard to sleep, especially I'm older now. But oh gosh, I'm nervous. So I'm just wondering, like you said, it's going to be at night. Then will the roads, because already the traffic on Fulweiler is like during work hours, it backs up down the street. So I'm just wondering if it's at night, then we won't have to worry about traffic. Really?
The section we're doing on Fulweiler will be during the day. It is a short section, 160.
Right, it looks like it's Sutter
Yeah,
to
so it's
49.
that should go really quick putting that in. And then coming back and tying in our kind of take little moments. It won't be for months at a time. Stretch as we're
And then, and so like burgers and so will the water be shut off?
Their water will be switched outside of business, likely over.
So will our
Talking
water-
to Mike.
Me?
To the
Sorry,
mic.
I'm sorry. So all the commercial services, Burgers and Cream, the 76 station, we'll work with all the owners there to do it outside of business hours. Most likely, since we already have all this night work going, we'll likely do those switchovers overnight. Residents will be during the day, but the only residential outage we have is on Garfield. We aren't touching any meters on Sterling, or on Fulweiler. This is purely, you're gonna hear us and see our presence, but we won't be touching your water.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And if there's additional questions, they can always use this contact information to get a hold of someone at PCWA and ask more
Yes,
questions.
absolutely.
right?
That's me on the top. You can contact me directly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have a report on City Council, City of Auburn's workforce vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Jen Leal, Human Resources Director. I'm here to present the hearing required by AB 2561, focusing on workforce vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts for calendar year 2025. What is AB 2561? Assembly Bill 2561 requires public agencies like ours to hold an annual hearing to assess and address workforce vacancies. It also provides bargaining units the opportunity to have their own presentation during this public hearing process. Tonight's presentation will cover the status of vacancies as of December 31st, 2025. It will also include our recruitment and retention strategies and the key challenges we face filling critical roles. As part of their procedures For AB 2561, we're required to provide each bargaining unit with their vacancy rate data 10 days prior to the council meeting. Each bargaining unit is given the opportunity to make the presentation, and they're required to notify HR of their intent to do so. I did not receive any requests from our bargaining units to present tonight. Our workforce. We provide a broad range of essential services that keep Auburn running smoothly every day. This includes police, fire, economic development, planning, HR, finance, public works, transit. Each of our departments play a vital role in delivering high-quality services to our community. In January 2025, our budgeted FTEs, which is full-time positions, was 89. As you recall, there was a significant budget deficit and positions were frozen and eliminated, mostly through attrition. At the fiscal year 25-26 budget adoption, council approved 79 budgeted positions. For the upcoming budget year, staff is recommending 78 budgeted FTEs. The different bargaining units and classifications, we have the Auburn Employees Association, which includes bus drivers, maintenance workers, and other maintenance positions. We have APOA, which is our Auburn Public Officers Association. That's our police officers, detectives, and sergeants. APSA is our Auburn Public Safety Association. Those are our dispatchers, records and dispatch supervisor, community service officer, code enforcement officers. The City Hall Employee Association, which is CHIA, is our permit tech, engineering tech, associate planner, building inspector, project manager, building official, and administrative analyst. In IFF, our Auburn firefighters, Local 4110, we have our firefighter, fire engineer, fire captain, and battalion chief. And in our unrepresented confidential group, we have city clerk, HR and finance analyst, the administrative series, management analyst, airport manager, assistant fire chief, and our police lieutenant classifications. The vacancy data that's up on the screen here is as of December 31st, 2025. We had 2 vacant positions at the end of 2025, which gave us a vacancy rate for IFF of 14.3%. The citywide average was 2.4%, which is low. And I'll go into more detail about the 2 vacancies in the next slide. So the 2 vacancies we had a fire captain position that was vacant effective November 15th of 2025, and the vacancy was due to a retirement, and that position was frozen at that time and unfunded in February 2026. The firefighter position that was vacant was an added FTE. If you recall, back in September, the department took out the community risk reduction position and wanted to add a firefighter classification. HR and the fire department used the eligibility list, so we were able to get somebody on board on January 13th, 2026. So during that time, they were going through the background check. To quickly go over our recruitment process, from beginning to end, once a vacancy is approved, we move to the detailed process of posting the job and advertising. We then interview and go through the selection process. We establish an eligibility list. We then make an offer, and if needed, go through an extensive background process. And then we have a formal offer with a start date, and then the vacancy is filled. The recruitment data for 2025, we had 10 hires, reclassification, and promotions, and the average time to fill vacancies, the citywide average is 63 days. For safety classifications, it was 69 days, and non-safety was 58. And safety obviously takes a little bit longer. The recruitment challenges and strategies haven't really changed much since early 2025. The challenges are a lengthy pre-employment background process for safety classifications, trying to find an applicant pool for skilled trades, technical and public safety roles are always a challenge in our area. The strategies we use is we continue to concurrently go through the pre-employment process with safety positions to cut down the timeline and getting somebody hired. We work closely with the police department on that. And we're trying to expand our recruitment outreach and job advertising. Our retention and turnover, it's a top priority for the city of Auburn. We have an 88.5% retention rate, which I think is very good. We had 79 active employees at the start of 2025, and we had 77 filled positions at the end of 2025. And our turnover is 12.9%. We had 10 separations during 2025. And that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much. We have questions from council? No questions? All right, very
Okay,
nice.
thank
Any
you.
public comment? All right, seeing none, thank you so much. All right, next we have our Public Works 2025-26 Annual Report Presentation.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Menjel Dean. I'm the Public Works Director. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Again, thank you. Tonight we're going to go over a year in review for the Public Works Department, my favorite department. Now I can't figure out how to make a remote control work, but all right. Oh, there we go. City of Auburn's Public Works Department is committed to delivering reliable, high-quality municipal services that enhance the quality of life for our residents, businesses, and visitors. We support a vibrant arts culture and community while maintaining the infrastructure and public spaces that make Auburn a unique and welcoming place for all. Our core values that you see up there, which are safety, efficiency, and sustainable through sustainable practices. Oh, in the wrong way. The department only consists of 21 employees. It's a very small department, but we're responsible for 8 key areas: sewer, stormwater, transit, transportation, maintenance, facilities, fleet, and solid waste. We're small, but mighty. Over the past year, the Public Works Department successfully completed several key infrastructure and facility improvement projects that enhance public safety, operational efficiency, and community services. Major accomplishments include emergency storm drain repairs at 414 Grass Valley Highway and Martin Park Fire Station, annual overlay resurfacing efforts, ADA accessibility improvements at the East Placer lot, fire station driveway replacement, citywide tree trimming maintenance and repairs, city hall facilities and driveway. In addition, the department advanced several cost-saving initiatives, including flow monitoring study, energy efficient upgrades at City Hall, and solar improvements at Fire Station 2 and Auburn Police Department, helping to reduce the long-term operating costs while improving sustainable practices. I almost went the wrong way again. This year, our wastewater operations team successfully treated and discharged more than 424 million gallons of water, while processing over 29 million gallons of solids through our treatment system. In addition, the team cleaned nearly 120,000 feet of sewer main line and conducted CCTV inspections on nearly 60,000 feet of main line as well, helping to ensure long-term reliability and performance of the wastewater system. The Transit Division. Since transitioning to a fully on-demand service model, our transit program has continued to experience steady growth, an encouraging trend at a time when transit agencies are seeing reduced transit services throughout the region and nationwide, and are facing declining ridership. The success of this demonstrates how on-demand transit effectively meets riders where they want to be and where they need services the most. Over the past year, we provided approximately 110 passenger trips and traveled more than 91,000 miles, while maintaining an impressive 98% on-time performance rate. Nearly 50% of all of our trips were shared rides, maximizing efficiency and service capacity. We also welcome many new users to the system, with 3,684 new passenger profiles created and 447 first-time riders, which is incredible if you think that Auburn only has about approximately 14,000 residents within our borders. Despite experiencing a reduction in funding, our Streets and Roads program continues to make significant progress in maintaining and improving the city's transportation infrastructure. This is done primarily through creative methods and new technologies that are out there for maintaining streets and roads. To date, crews have treated approximately 490,000 square feet of roadway surface and an additional 245 square feet scheduled to be treated within the weeks to come. On top of that, approximately 3,700 square feet of roadway was overlaid. This was due to the Aeolia sewer and water line project. That road was overlaid this year because we put in a new sewer line, if the council remembers that initiative. Our team has also replaced approximately 160 street signs and dedicated over 1,000 hours to street sweeping, helping to maintain safe and effective roadways throughout the community. This year also included strong emphasis on enhancing bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. I think our mayor has a strong part in that, along with Councilmember Amara, with numerous improvements focused on expanding connectivity and accessibility and safety for all our roadway users. Our maintenance division. As always, our maintenance division has remained especially busy providing critical services that help our community safe and attractive and functional. Staff maintains 14 pocket parks throughout the city and completed vegetation management on 85 acres of open space, dedicated more than 700 hours to wildfire prevention and open space maintenance efforts. In addition, crews logged over 4,260 hours of landscape work throughout the city. To put this into perspective, that represents the equivalent of 2 full-time employees working year-round solely on landscape maintenance. The team also successfully completed nearly 1,600 work orders, responding to requests from both other city departments and community members beyond their regular duties. Maintenance staff played a key role in supporting 48 community events throughout the year, helping to ensure that these events were safe, successful, and enjoyable for the residents that visit Auburn. The city owns and operates 11 facilities, all of which require ongoing maintenance, repairs, and improvements. This year, staff completed more than 115 work orders across these buildings, addressing a wide range of operational and maintenance needs. Some of these notable facilities projects include the completion of the exterior siding and upgrades at the Auburn Police Department, as well as providing support to our tenants at the Chamber of Commerce, Welcome Center, Western States Museum, to help bring their facility improvements projects into fruition. Sorry, I never write anything down. This is the first time I've ever done this. You guys probably noticed that I come up here and but I didn't want to make it too long tonight. Oh. The city's fleet division is responsible for maintaining a diverse inventory of vehicles, 116 vehicles to be exact, including 10 fully electric vehicles, as well as 50 pieces of small equipment and 11 public safety backup generators located throughout the municipality. In addition to routine maintenance and repairs, the division performs specialized vehicle and equipment upfits, i.e. if we buy a fire truck, for fire purposes, it doesn't come necessarily with all the equipment that is required to make it a functional vehicle for the staff, so the staff spends a lot of time building up those vehicles. Over the past 6 months alone, the fleet team dedicated more than 160 labor hours to fleet maintenance, repairs, and equipment build-outs. These accomplishments were achieved by a team of just 2 employees. We have 2 maintenance mechanics within the Public Works Department, who also manage the city's compliance and reporting requirements with agencies such as the California Air Resources Board, California Transit Commission, and the California Bureau of Automotive Repairs, or BAR. All this effort is to ensure that the city's fleet remains safe, reliable, and compliance with the state regulations. Challenges and opportunities. While the department continues to achieve significant accomplishments, several challenges remain that will require ongoing attention and strategic planning. One of the most pressing issues is our aging infrastructure. The city's pavement condition index remains below average, and with the elimination of the $500,000 annual general fund contribution for roadway rehabilitation, this has really limited the amount of work that we can put out on an annual basis. The department also continues to navigate increasing regulatory requirements, particularly those associated with clean feed and electric vehicle mandates. While these requirements are rapidly evolving, dedicated funding sources, clear implementation guidance remain limited, placing additional pressure on the local jurisdictions to comply to state mandates. Before you see the PCI kind of index, which is the pavement condition index that the city's roads are currently in. 2 years ago, the pavement condition index was actually exactly 67, which is about the state average. Over the last 2 years, we've lost 3 PCI points. And this is primarily due to not being able to do overlay projects in a large capacity that we once were. We were able to do some things that we're currently doing and we're very proud of. However, the reality is that for our pavement condition index to get back to about that 70 PCI mark, we have to figure out some funding mechanism. Recently, staff has applied for some grant funding through our STBG funds to help support the High Street infrastructure project, and we think that's going to help. The work that we're currently doing hasn't been inputted this to change the PCI yet, but it'll probably bring us back to 65, 66, but we still won't be at that 67 where we started before we remove that $500,000 contribution from the general fund. But there are lots of grant funds out there to help facilitate this. Despite these challenges, there's meaningful opportunities ahead. Pursuing grant funding and strategic partnerships will remain a key focus, and the city's investment in knowledgeable, dedicated grant writing position will certainly help us as we move forward. Apologize. Why don't write things down? With all that we have accomplished this year, and despite the challenges we continue to work through, I'm confident that we have the right people in the right positions to successfully move the department forward. Our team remains committed to taking proactive and aggressive approach to maintaining and improving our city's infrastructures. Looking ahead, our priorities include advancing critical infrastructure maintenance such as our roadway improvement. We have the Canyon Court lift station, which is just out to bid, and we received bids on Friday. We are looking to award, and the council will be seeing that on the June 22nd council meeting. We are constantly looking for funding for ADA and bike improvements, and we have identified some bike ped funds through the local transportation fund, TDA funds, to do that. So over the next couple of years, you'll see more ADA improvements and bike ped infrastructure in place. Our sustainable goals are to enhance the city's facilities with energy efficient things, such as lighting and HVAC systems. We have already put in place in this building over the last year some things along the lines of LED light upgrades in the finance department, public works department, the HR department, city managers' offices. So we have made strides along the way towards this effort, and we look to continue to advance that. We are also building out the city stormwater program. We have dedicated 2 public works staff to specifically map everything in our stormwater program. But even with that, it's fantastic to know where everything's at, but we still have to figure out funding mechanisms in order to support the repair and replacement of some of these necessary infrastructures. With that, I will open up the floor for questions, comments.
Oh, hold on. We'll get to public comment. Yeah, sorry. Any questions?
Sure,
council?
just my usual. What are the bike hours right now, and will we expand the bike, excuse me, the on-demand?
Oh, I was going to say, you can ride your bike at any hour.
My next question is going to be a bike.
I kid. So currently we are running from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. with the expansion in mind. So we've started the free rides on Saturday's program, as you guys are aware. We're looking to expand that to another day. So far, we have not seen an uptick of additional ridership on the weekends.
It just started.
Let me take that back.
Wait, I'm talking about time right now.
I'm going to get there. So the reality is that we haven't seen the need for it yet, but during the summer months, once school is out, we're looking to expand the hours to 8 p.m. at first to see if we start to get those additional riders. And then once we do that, if it shows a need, we will expand beyond that. The problem with operating transit later into the evening, for every operational hour, it costs about $120 just to run the bus for 1 hour. And if we're not bringing in the revenue to support that, it's very difficult to do because we're required to meet a 10% ratio through the TDA requirements. But we are slowly pushing it out because the idea is to get people on the bus and show that if it opens later, please use it. And then we can support it that way.
I appreciate that. But I just ask so that we can promote it. And so if it's not there to promote, then we can't promote it. So,
Absolutely.
So for what I hear you saying, I think school is out, but maybe you can come back and give us a more definitive time because what you're saying is when school's out, but I think the high school's out, it'll expand from 7 to 8 at night.
Correct.
Right? And that's weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I don't understand.
Sundays we don't operate, but we're looking to expand the hours. So if we were going to expand the hours for the
I don't want to put you
operational
on the spot, but maybe the next meeting we can know.
I have the answer.
Okay, okay.
The reality is that we're going to do every day of the week. Monday through Saturday, we don't operate on Sunday. So we're going to push it to 8 p.m. and then slowly move it out as the ridership starts to pick up during those hours.
Okay.
We previously ran until 11 p.m. and as mentioned, we didn't necessarily get the ridership, but to your point, may not have advertised it as well. We've been working with the city clerk and the transit manager to get more ads on Google. We've got some things on Instagram. We've got some things on the city's Facebook page. So we're taking the necessary steps to advertise it to make sure that the people are aware that we're running these services.
Okay, because, do you see a need for maybe Friday and Saturday to be a little bit longer, because people do stay out later? We have Music on the Square, which I've been promoting, and it's been very successful, with a lot of crowd. So, if you decide to keep it open later, I think a lot of people might utilize it, and especially if they know in advance, and we can promote it.
Yeah, we're very excited by the opportunity to do that, and we think we're going to let the ridership dictate how far out we push it out.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Then the other question I have is, so you have Saturday is free Saturday. What is the hours for that? Free fare Saturday.
8 a.m. to 7 p.m. 100% free. Please ride the transit.
Okay. And one other question, you put on the screen that bicycle facilities have been added. I just would like to know this past year, can you just delineate for the world?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
What bicycle facilities is there?
Yeah, no, so throughout the city, we have put out more bike racks to ensure that folks are able to park their bikes in front of businesses that they're trying to utilize. We're currently working on a striping project, as the council may be aware of, on Pleasant and Pacific. We're looking to add that in this fiscal year.
But that hasn't been done yet?
No, that is currently in the work. We have the bid out, and we're waiting to receive bids. It's striping contractors, this is their busy time of the year, because this is when most jurisdictions are getting their roadway work done. We do have some remaining funds from our local transportation funds that we're going to utilize to make sure that happens. To push that forward.
Okay, so mostly racks this past year.
Racks and education.
Education.
And
okay.
education.
And then you've done a lot with the front lawn, and I want to thank you, by the way, and your whole department, and you have a wonderful staff. You do a lot, and as everybody could see, you have a lot to do. There's a lot of different areas, so thank you. I do want to preface all this.
No, I do appreciate that, but I'd like to say that It's not me. It's certainly the staff and the public works team. Like I said before, I'm extremely happy to work with the men and women in the department. I get to sit here and talk to you guys about it, but they get all the work done.
Yeah, and thank you for the helping on the front lawn too. That's been wonderful. Also, you talked about the storm drain. Is that one of our biggest challenges, do you think?
If you were to ask me what keeps me up at night, I would say it's our storm drain system. The reality is that we don't collect enough funding or have funding in any capacity to facilitate or fix the needs that we currently have. And the problem is we can put it on developers that come into the future, but we can't expect them to fix things that are already broken in the past. So there is a huge gap between what needs to be done and funding available to do it. So that's the biggest concern is our
Right.
storm drain.
And there's no way, like roads, you can get grants. Is that fair to say, as opposed to storm drains, it's a little more difficult?
The challenge that I've been finding with the storm drain system is that anytime there's grant funding available for it, they ask specifically for the maintenance records.
Oh, and we don't have those?
And I'm not saying that we don't have those. What I'm saying is that it's a little bit more challenge for me to provide.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thank you and your staff in the department. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I was the one who pushed for you to do the presentation, but I always like to hear from all the different departments, and your staff does a great job. I'm glad we were able to get them the street sweeper. I'm glad that sometimes they're such hard workers that sometimes they push through and do the job even when they don't always have the tools that they need. So I really encourage you and through them to ask for the things that you need so that way, and that they need, so that way we can make sure we're meeting all those needs. Because I mean, it's hard. Most public works are the things that nobody thanks you for. Thank God that the roads were working well today, or that no storm drains burst, or sewer systems had backups, and we have had those things, but very rare. You only get to experience the good work they do when something breaks and something is not going well, so that's unfortunate. So thank you to your staff. I really appreciate that. I do want to make sure, Mr. City Manager, that we are, for all of the events that we help with our staff, that we're providing them with a receipt for our donation moving forward of all the labor and effort that we put into it. Because a lot of times we don't necessarily, the organization doing the event in town doesn't necessarily acknowledge the fact that we have spent many, many labor hours. And so I just want to make sure that that donation of all that time and effort and money is acknowledged by those organizations in the future.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to kind of capture all that and then, yeah, get it to them.
Because I mean, if you see the parade, you see Menjel staff around, you see PD, you see some fire staff, you see volunteers from multiple different groups, and so it takes a lot of city staff and volunteers to make those things happen. And the Chamber of Commerce does a lot too, but normally it's their event.
Right.
And so I just want to make sure that that's being acknowledged as well, because we put a lot of time and energy into those. The other thing is, I love how well On Demand is going. We used to have buses going around with no one in them. So obviously this is a huge improvement. I hear lots of positive things. There is, I will say, there's a stigma here because we didn't grow up with public transportation. That people aren't comfortable putting their kids on public transportation, where if you go to a city that has it, most kids at a very young age are riding public transportation, and sometimes riding them by themselves earlier than you might think. So there was a discussion that I heard recently about how do we get kids to their after-school programs, like at Auburn Gymnastics or tutoring or music lab, and there was talk about how do we do that with, the Auburn On Demand. Well, we're nervous about our kids riding public transportation, so maybe we can do a little bit more of, I don't know, educating them on that the drivers are fingerprinted and that it's not as scary. There are a lot of kids who use it for after school, but I feel like there's a lot of people who didn't grow up with it here and just don't understand necessarily what we have, and that it is a safe ride for kids.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, and thank you for bringing it up. And Auburn Transit in general has been a big supporter of getting kids to their after-school needs for as long as I've been a part of this organization. In fact, Auburn Transit, Auburn drivers are all required to have the GPPV license, which is the General Paratransit. Don't ask me right now, but it allows them to get onto school grounds. Now, Auburn Transit is the only local transit agency that has this distinction, because we used to carry students from Bowman as well as, I want to say, Alta, to the Boys and Girls Club on High Street. And since the school has rearranged some things, we no longer do that. We still have the ability to do that. And we're hoping that this summer, through our free fares initiative, parents are going to get on our buses with their kids and get that level of comfort that you're talking about.
Maybe we could do some kind of marketing campaign to kind of highlight the drivers and how trained and safety they are, or something like that, just to kind of throw it out there, or something like that too. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we'll certainly look into that, because it is an additional certification that we ask our drivers to get just so that they can work for Auburn Transit. And we're very unique in that way because we're very community oriented and push for that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, especially during the summer, there's a lot of activities that are only 3 hours in the middle of the workday that are really hard for parents to get their kids to. So I think that this is a great option for them if they want to use transit.
And also our drivers are trained, just so for the parents that are listening, that if your children are on our buses, we don't necessarily pick up other adults in the process. I know it's not something that we're required to do, but it's just something that we do because we are a part of this community and we do think about things at that level. So
that's good to know too. So anyway, I just wanted to highlight that we are a safe ride for kids if they need to get around or get somewhere after school and those kinds of things. Because I know more, because of the economy and other things, more parents are having to work more and trying to figure out what to do and how to transport their kids after school to activities. And that's been a challenge for a lot. So thank you for that. That's all I had. Thank you for all your hard work, and thank you for all that you do. For the amount of staff you have, the amount of things that you all work on every year is always amazing, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Menjel. Appreciate the update. It is good to hear what's happening in your space, so thank you very much. You have multiple responsibilities between transit, stormwater, streets, all infrastructure, right? So, and transportation, which is completely different, as you know. And it's interesting, given that I serve on SACOG as well as PCTPA, and we talk about transit, especially at SACOG, we're talking about it, and I hear about these ridership for other jurisdictions. I mean, SAC-RT is in a whole lot of hurt. BART, Muni, major problems. And, our demand, we were really, we were cutting edge with that on-demand program. We really set the standard. I remember talking about it several years ago to my colleagues saying, hey, we've got this great new program on demand, and our ridership is increased. Because isn't it like 30%, Menjel? Or
40%.
40%. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but for transit, that is huge for our area. I mean, it's not San Francisco amount, but we don't have that kind of demand just because, but 40% is huge when you look at all of our neighbor in the region, in the 6-county region. And, and the fact that we're able to use the Teslas that we purchased with grants. I mean, it's just been a phenomenal program. I constantly talk about it at the league level with my colleagues. They're like, what's this now? I'm like, oh, you got to get on board because it really helps to pay for itself. And that's really, transit is so incredibly heavily subsidized. We've heard that, right now the 5-year transportation bill, the authorization, they're just starting it, which is common because not going to finish it by the end of the fiscal year. But that reauthorization that comes every 5 years, what we're hearing is there's about a 7% increase. I mean, as they're just planning, and that's great news. We thought there might be some cuts with transit, and there's not, so that's good. But, it's one of those programs that, some people are like, well, why are we even spending money when you have 1 or 2 people? But we've just done a great job. We still have, other areas. We can increase our ridership, of course. And I know that Sandy had talked about extending the hours, and I thought maybe it might make some sense to kind of coordinate with some of our local events. So, for example, it might be too short of notice, but we have cocktails, cinnamon cocktails Saturday night. It would have been, great to maybe say, hey, in tandem with this, the City of Auburn is partnering, we're extending our rides until 10 o'clock or whatever that night to, you know what I mean? So things where we know there's things happening in the evening, maybe we can do that. And that might be a way to kind of increase ridership and get people more familiar and, it just is a start, because I know we got to get it. I know that we need to make sure that we are able to get the ridership. We don't want just something out there riding with nobody in it. And so that was just something I thought about, maybe looking at some of those nighttime events and, you
No,
know.
absolutely, and I am 100% on board with what you're saying. So we are very much open to operating special event routes. We don't do shuttles, but we do special event routes. The goal of On Demand is to meet the passengers where they are. And I think what you're talking about is the exact type of thing that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
If there's an event that's running later into the evening, we should be there to serve folks because we don't want people drinking and being out on the road for
That's right, yeah.
Chief Morrison to have to find them. He's a mean man. But
And I bet people would really use it. I mean, if we, you know, like I said, there's not a lot of really late night events, but, you know, if we kind of work with those that have late night events, maybe that's an opportunity.
I think this summer you're going to see a lot more of that. We're going to work with our local partners to ensure that we're meeting the demand where the demand is needed.
So, but I did want to say just huge kudos on that because we were really, you know, cutting edge on that. And I'm so proud of our program, our transit, and I talk about it all the time, like I said, statewide.
The council should be, you guys should be thanked. You guys did it. We didn't do it. It was
Well,
your
but, you know.
initiative through this council.
The other thing I just wanted to mention, I mean, our public works staff are phenomenal. You know, they are out there working, you know, in the crazy storms, just like our firefighters and our police. I mean, when trees are down and flooding and things like that, they are there. You know, they're out there putting their lives on the line as well. I mean, working in conditions that are very difficult and you never know. So, very proud of our employees and, you know, however we can support you. You know, I'm always looking for SACOG dollars, and I know that you look at that as well, and just trying to see what we can do to enhance our program. So, but doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And to a point that you just made, in 1991, President George Bush anointed public works as first responders throughout and it's been a national thing. And to your point, they are there. They're the first ones in, and sometimes, many times, the last ones out. So we do appreciate that, and we have I have so much pride in the men and women in our department for the work that they do.
Great. Councilmember Holmes, do you have questions or comments?
Yes, I wanted to apologize for arriving so late. And I promise I'll try not to let that happen again.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dean. You do great work. You have an incredible group of folks. Every day I see them out on my bike. They wave to me. I wave to them. It's a pleasure. They work hard. Thank you for everything.
My pleasure.
All right. Do we have any public comment? Yes. Sorry, I made you wait for it. Yeah, you got to come up.
This about the shuttles piqued my interest. Janae Noble, founder of Auburn Porch Fest, live music on neighborhood porches. We're going to have 50 bands this year on the south side of 80. And after the event last year, we did kind of a wrap and tried to figure out all the things that we could improve upon. And one of the things we wanted to help continue to promote was the walkability of the event from neighborhood to neighborhood. And so somebody mentioned the shuttle. So then when the shuttle came up, I kind of went, oh, okay. So On Demand. So of course our event is on Sunday. So now we have an event that we can partner with and we can do a test run, and I will promote. I am a promoter, and I'll promote the heck out of this thing because I also did bike advocacy too. So help the city of Long Beach and San Diego get infrastructure in so people could get out of their cars and onto their bikes and experience the infrastructure that the city spent so much to put in and had it underutilized. So since you don't run on Sunday, my first question is October 4th, first Sunday in October, could we run on Sunday? And how many shuttles are available? And we'll have, within the event footprint, we'll have 5 porch zones. So it'll be downtown, Roby Point, Old Town, Rec Park, and Sky Ridge. And the idea would be for the city to just, people in the town to come out of their houses, walk down to one of the porches and enjoy live music. And if they wanted to, say if they were downtown and they wanted to go up to Roby Point, instead of having people drive their cars up there, and sometimes it's hard to navigate on a bike, those hills, could they have that cool shuttle? So I guess my main question is, what's the feasibility of that? And then just one more thing that you mentioned, Ms. Harris, is you're talking about the events recognizing the donation that the city made with their infrastructure, their facilities, their staff. I put on events in San Diego, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Napa. We paid for everything. And although it's a community event, it's free, and it does uplift the community economically. More than happy to look at paying for services. So the answer would be on the shuttles. How would we do that? The time frame is noon to 5 o'clock, essentially.
So first, I can answer that very quickly. We don't run shuttles, but we do special event routes. There's a significant difference. I know there's a reason for that, but I'll give you my business card and we can talk about how we can make that work. There's always an opportunity.
I'll add on to that day because we have the cemetery tours and the symphony. It's like a trifecta of opportunities that day.
Anything's possible. I don't have the answers right now at the dais, but we can certainly figure out how to make it work. With enough time, we just need to get the staff in place, figure out what your capacity is going to be, and
5,000 people.
we need to talk. So.
Great. Any other public comment? All right, and that was informational. Thank you, Mr. Dean. Yes, we would like to take a 5-minute break before the budget.
Well, I got up and I've got a bad foot. Was there any mention about
Madam Clerk, do you know our voting locations in Auburn? Yes. That's right here, right? Here. Thanks for coming. $1,000 unread emails, Amy? Oh. You're not giving me any anxiety. Got that. I still need to vote too. I guess I'll go in person. I got overwhelmed with the ballot. The ballot is big. You look at it, oh, it's big.
All right. Yeah? All right, resuming here tonight, we will continue on with our fiscal year 2026-27 proposed budget.
All right, good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. I'm Gretchen Hoskins, Finance Director. So tonight, we're asking for the approval of the proposed budget, just over $33 million citywide, comprised of your general fund, $18.7 million, special revenue funds, $4 million, enterprise funds, almost $10.5 million, and then redevelopment tax fund at $333,000. Two other components of the budget include setting general fund reserves. At this point, it's an estimate, just under $5.4 million, and our appropriations limit that's required by law, $28 million. So a little background on the budget development. We had our good surplus year in fiscal year 24-25, about $800,000 in surplus. But we still have to recognize the prior 2 years before that were deficit years. We did a colossal work effort to turn the ship, and we're successful. And looking ahead, we just need to be cognizant of making sure we don't go back into that area. Our other funds outside the general fund have been consistent with the surplus and or deficit that are within expectations, depending on the fund. So in the current fiscal year, 25-26, we do have a one-time shortfall anticipated of about $1.1 million, and that's related to a one-time storm drain repair. The plan is to use reserves for that, and we don't foresee that that event is going to cause a repeat of a deficit into future years. The general fund multi-year projections looking out, they are absent any major variables, and those major variables include, for example, unanticipated repairs, any labor negotiations this year and into the future, and current and future sales tax fluctuations over time. And if reserves do fall under our financial management policy, we'd have to replenish them. So those are some of the major variables that always influence our projections. The most recently on May 11th, we had a budget development council item where departments presented their priorities, challenges, and successes. My main takeaway from that is that departments, even though we're status quo with funding and expenditures, are doing so much to re-engineer and innovate their processes in order to achieve their goals and what they need to do absent increases in funding. So the 26-27 proposed budget includes a variety of these items here. So we have a constrained requested budgets. Just as I mentioned, it's because available revenues are not keeping pace with the cost of doing business. Prior year multi-year grants are winding down. A couple of new grants are in the works. The budget also includes, it actually doesn't yet include those labor negotiations that are pending. However, some intel that I'm hearing sounds like we'll have that for final budget. So that'll be on June 22nd where the final budget comes to your council. Capital improvement plan expenditures are currently on hold as we wait for this year's final results with fund balance to see if there is any funding at all available and what the next year looks like for some capital improvement expenditures that aren't funded by external sources. All in all, the general fund is balanced. There's no planned use or additions to reserves. Again, when I mention using reserves for the storm drain, that's for the current year. It's not for the budget year coming up. The airport and sewer fund, they do have planned uses of reserves, but that's intentional for capital projects that have been planned or are in the works already. And we have two funds with ongoing deficits that we have had for several years now. Closed landfill fund, which continues to be in negotiations to come up with a solution for that for the service provider. and then our School Park Preserve Impact Fee Fund, which was really just trying to pay back with some impact fees the cost of constructing the park years ago. This chart is a summary of the $33 million proposed budget, with general fund being our largest fund at $18.7 million. The sewer fund is up next at $8.5 million. Airport fund at almost $2 million, and then rounding out the highest is transit at about $1.1 million. As part of the development of the final budget that's going to be brought to your council, we bring forward a position allocation list, which sets the positions for the city every year. 2 changes have come up since our mid-year budget presentation. One is a position title change from administrative technician to human resources technician. This represents more in line with what the position is doing. Half of a full-time position for the payroll function was in finance. It was determined it's a better operational model to move that to HR. So in doing that, the position change just trues up what the position is actually doing in the department it's working for. The other item is to a reclassification request of a vacant position, finance technician to finance analyst. So this represents a couple of things going on over the past more than 2 years now, not only including the payroll shift, which was a technician type of duty to HR, but we have been changing our procedures. First and foremost, it's accounts payable and all the automation we've been doing with those. All invoices used to be keyed in manually by the technician. We no longer do that. The system scans it and populates the fields for us. So that type of task is no longer in existence. We're also outsourcing business licenses. That's a very technical driven responsibility that we're no longer going to have to do in-house. All of those reductions, you would think, well, then why do you need the position? Well, it's because there are many other things that over the past couple of years that haven't been getting done. Not only have things not been getting done, but they haven't been getting done by the right people. And so a lot of the increases in accounting and auditing standards have come up that have somewhat been neglected, and that's because we don't have enough eyes on the situation to take the time to learn and digest and implement the new protocols, but it's also not at the right level. A technician is more of a helper. It's not I'm responsible for this and I'm going to figure it out and do it. So just the complexity in the job and the elimination of the technical duties has resulted in this request for the reclassification. Drilling down into the general fund, again, it's our largest fund at $18.7 million. 66% of the budget is related to personnel costs. This is up a little bit over the past few years from 61%. That's because of a couple of things. We keep investing in our staff with our labor agreements that go forward, which is a great thing, but we've also reduced in some areas our ability to pay for services and goods and equipment and things that need to get replaced. So it's shifting the ratio a little bit towards personnel as a greater slice of that pie. So goods and services are 24% of the total. Our debt service payments for our CalPERS pension obligation bonds is about 7% of the total, and some capital projects are 3% of the total. On the revenue side of that 18.7 million, taxes are the largest as usual. 79.4% of total revenues are taxes, and that comes from property tax, TOT tax, and sales tax. The smaller components of revenues, 10.6% are our licenses, permits, fees, and charges, 4.4% with franchise fees, and then down the list for some smaller other revenues. Looking specifically at the total tax revenues, again, that was 79.4% of the general fund revenue, which equates to 14.8 million. Of that amount, almost 8 million is sales tax. That represents 43% of the total general fund revenue, but it's also 54% of total tax revenue that we have. Property tax is 6 million, and that's 40% of the total, and TOT is $500,000, about 4% of the total. So with sales tax being our primary general fund revenue source, we are definitely going to update and refine the projection for final budget, but this revenue source continues to be consistently volatile. It's hard, the estimates are uncertain, and currently we are watching an anomaly in the data that we have through the third quarter in the current year. And we meet with HDL next week to figure out what the anomaly is, but hopefully it's nothing to be concerned about. But I did want to mention it here that we may have to do an adjustment at final budget for sales tax, but not sure what that could look like yet. So drilling down a little bit more into sales tax, I wanted to provide this is a busy slide, but it has all of the possible information on sales tax that I thought we could digest here in the presentation. There was a request to provide more information on Bradley Burns, and so that's what this slide intends to do. I would like to say that I'm not the sales tax expert. We do hire someone to do that for you, but I do have a lot of information here that I can speak to, which hopefully will cover a lot of the questions that have come up recently. So I'll spend a little time here. So Bradley Burns, what that is, it's a tax law from the 50s, and it basically says that with California's sales tax rate, which is 7.25, 1% of that returns to cities. So with City of Auburn, for discretionary use, that 1% goes into the general fund. The remaining portions, 0.25% goes to Placer County for transportation, 6% is maintained by the state. So the easiest way, or the easiest way to think about that 1% is with our storefronts. If there is a business in the city limits, you walk into it, you buy something, you leave, for every $100 spent at that store, $1 comes back to the city. But there are many other nuances that can happen. Not everybody's going to walk into our store. People are going to buy online, or they're going to make an out-of-state purchase. What happens then? So then everything changes. The tax rate of 7.25 is still the tax rate that the person making the purchase pays, because it's based on their address and it's based on the delivery. If they're ordering online, it's going to go to their house in Auburn, they're going to pay 7.25%. But where does that 1% go? It doesn't go back to the city, it goes into a pool. So the city only receives a share of each jurisdiction's taxable sales relative to the county as a whole or the state as a whole, depending on where and how that purchase gets shipped. So I have in that parentheses there sometimes, and that's because, say there's a warehouse in the state. Maybe the warehouse is in Ohio. Maybe it's in the county. You know, there's a lot of nuances there that determines where that 1% actually goes. And so it comes back into just a shared pool, and the state has decided that that's the best way to allocate these types of scenarios fairly across all of the jurisdictions.
I just wanted to make a point about that. There is a movement by the League of Cities, is we'd like to have some of that county pool allocation actually come back to the city. Because right now, like you said, it goes to the county. It's a county pool allocation, and but we should be getting some of that, the cities, for our residents that are doing that. So there is that push, so.
So we do get a portion of the pool allocated back to us. It's based on how much sales tax you produce. So what that creates is there's winners and losers, right? If you're a Roseville that has a big number of large amount of sales tax being generated, you get an outsized amount of that county pool.
We want our own pool, though. What
right.
I'm saying is that, we get a little bit of that, but the cities want to have their own allocation, their own pool, versus having to
Right.
receive it from the county, because like you said, the Rosevilles and the bigger,
Right.
sales tax producers get
What is
more.
that number then we usually get? What percentage? It's still,
You know, I can let me see if I can find out. I'll
okay,
try to look it up
I'm-
really quick.
yeah, I just was.
Are they saying that they just don't, because I know that they have the data of exactly how much I purchase from Amazon. Are they claiming that they need to do a pool because they can't figure out how much the people in Auburn purchase?
No.
It's not just Amazon. It's also stuff like building materials, like road base. That kind of there's a tax paid for that kind of stuff. That goes into the county pool as opposed to directly to the jurisdiction where it's being purchased.
And it's just because it's a nationwide thing, and it's
Right.
easier just to send it to the counties than, California has 483 cities, but only 58 counties. So it's just easier, and you're looking at all 50 states and then our territories to just distribute it to the county. We would like to have it distributed to the cities. So it's very complicated, and it's really not the most fair and equitable way, right? It's just like with the
But I don't know
internet
how
sales.
difficult it really is, given
Well,
that,
yes, they
technology
can do
is
it.
doing a lot of things.
Yes,
these
and
days.
they should be able to do that. But it's
Have
even
Claude do it.
internet sales. Our share of sales tax is based on what percentage of sales tax we get from brick and mortar.
Well, yeah, and Roseville has a huge mall and lots of
Disneyland in Anaheim.
Yeah.
And that's why
it varies.
we benefited so much during COVID when things were closed.
Mhm.
We got a higher share because those other jurisdictions weren't making the money. All the theme parks and
the
all the
touristy
places.
yeah.
Exactly. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so let's talk about vehicle purchases too, because that's a big one that we talk about. So in this case, whether the vehicle is purchased from a dealership versus a private party, that influences the tax as well. So if a vehicle is purchased new or used from a dealership, the location where the vehicle was sold determines the 1%. So that's where folks buying in Roseville, that 1% goes back to Roseville. The tax rate stays the same as wherever the vehicle is registered. So your 7.25% is what you pay as an Auburn resident, but the city does not get that 1%. Now, if you buy a used car from a local private party, the state considers that a use tax, and again, that falls into that county pool allocation approach. So district tax, this is something Auburn does not have. A district tax is an additional voter-approved tax. So for example, 0.25% on top of the 7.25. Yes. So that would be 100% of that 0.25% in that example goes back to the city always. So if something is purchased, delivered, or registered in the city limits, that additional 0.25% that is paid by the resident in that city goes back to the city.
Regardless of where it's purchased.
Right.
And I think that is a really important point, because we do not have any additional district tax. We haven't been successful in that endeavor. But if we are someday, which I would, we're certainly having to think about these things, that's money that automatically comes to us, regardless of where our resident makes that purchase.
Right.
Right now, we don't get that.
So if someone buys a car in Roseville, but it's delivered up to me in Auburn, then we would get the
That if it was
0.25.
Yeah, or whatever percentage we had, 0.25, 0.5, whatever increase we had on the sales tax would automatically, if you had 1%, if somebody.
It can be more than 0.25?
Yes, it's whatever. So for example, if you have their sales tax, that's 1% higher than 7.25 in other jurisdictions, that 1% goes to that city or that county.
And it doesn't matter if it's Roseville. You could buy it in Los Angeles.
It doesn't
because
matter.
the car is registered. It's not where it's sent. It's where the car is registered.
Yeah, it's
So-
where you're.
It's where it's registered.
Right.
Yeah.
But it says where it's delivered.
Well, that's if it's an item. So, it's like if you were to buy a couch or a article of clothing or a Rolex watch or whatever.
Cars are different. Okay.
Well, cars too. It's just that I think she's just using it generically delivered.
I am.
But it's
Right.
because it's going to be in your garage or your driveway or whatever. You're going to buy.
I can have them deliver it.
But I think that's really important because it's not just, you know, if you do pass a sales tax measure, you're not just generating that additional revenue from what's being spent in the city. You're generating additional money from outside the city purchases. I would not encourage other people to shop outside the cities, but certainly there are things that you cannot purchase within the city limits. We just don't have. We would actually benefit from that. And
That's
I
a
think
big advantage.
it is a big advantage, and I think it's something that I'm in my 4th term here, and I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
And it was something that I learned at the League of Cities, and I told Sean, we got to talk about this because I'm confident that most people don't know that because I bet that you didn't know.
So the thing that doesn't make sense to me is that the reason why we don't get 1% of our actual purchases for those online and other things that go to this pool is because it's too hard to figure out. But if we add an additional 1%, then it's not too hard to figure out, and we can figure out exactly what that additional 1% is. So that's just us not fixing the law from 1956 when things were more challenging?
Yeah, well, and it's not just us; it's a statewide thing. But it's not all
the
purchases.
county.
So, like, if you go to Roseville and buy a pack of gum, they don't figure out that in Auburn your tax rate is 7.75. So that extra 0.5%. It's only on specific items and most specifically cars.
Okay.
So
So the district taxes really only have to do with cars.
No. The district tax is on any sale, any item.
But not
outside.
What about the gum?
Outside.
Yeah, what about the gum?
The gum or the Rolls Royce.
But you don't know that somebody lives in Auburn if they buy the gum in Roseville, is what
Because
Sean's
you don't
saying.
because you're not.
I'm sorry,
registering.
I'm not a tax person.
So let's say that if the city had a half-cent sales tax that was approved by voters, because it has to be approved by voters, anything that you buy within the city limits, whether it's you or somebody who lives in Colfax or Roseville or whatever, pays the 7.75% sales tax. That 0.5% stays here, 100% of that, 0.5%. If you buy a car in Roseville, you live in Auburn, buy a car in Roseville, whatever their sales tax rate is, 15%, whatever it is, the city still gets 0.5% of that car sale that comes back here because the car is registered here. If you buy a pack of gum, you're not registering your gum.
Right. You're not even delivering it.
If I'm buying my Amazon whatever purchases for back to school week,
Online stuff's it's a different thing.
so that doesn't get you the extra percentage.
The online is the county pool allocation, and that's based on a formula.
So even if you have that additional 0.5% or 1%, that still goes to
Doesn't
the
make
pool.
any difference.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I think I didn't hear what you said. So if we have a sales tax that's above 7.25, we get 100%. We get the 1%, but
We
then
get
we get also
100% of it, of the-
Right.
0.25.
So let's say that our
Yes,
sales tax
100%.
rate was 7.75. If voters approved a 0.5% tax, the city would receive the 1% plus the 0.5%.
Oh.
So we would be receiving 1.5 instead of 1%.
Okay.
Plus, if you bought a car in Roseville, you would get that 5.5.
and that's a big plus too.
I looked up our county pool percentage. We get 6.7% of the county pool, which is below Rockland, Lincoln, and Roseville, and an unincorporated part of the county because those are bigger
Bigger.
areas that have more people living in them that generate more sales tax.
It's 6.6.
6.7. And that actually went down from last year, and it went down because the Costco and Loomis is now generating sales
More.
tax, which means that the pie, the pie is the same size, but the slices have changed size inside of it.
Loomis gets a bigger
So we need
Loomis gets a
bigger
slice.
sales tax producers in the city of Limits to help increase our county pool allocation.
100%, yeah.
Unless we can get our own, city pool allocation, which is, like I said, this League of Cities is always looking at that. It's very, very difficult.
So that's
because-
why cities, it's called fiscalization of land use. And so you're looking at the highest best use for a property is always, from the city's perspective, going to be something that generates sales tax or TOT tax. TOT tax from hotels, the city keeps 100% of that.
Yep.
So we try to seek out hotels and get hotels here because we don't have to give any of that to the county or to the state or anything else. 100% stays here. And if you're not able to do that, then you try to find something like a car dealership or a Costco or a Home Depot or a Lowe's because that is all taxable, especially Home Depot and Lowe's. The stuff that they are selling is 100% taxable, which means that the city has increased its tax base by the 1% of their total whatever sales are. So we're always looking for that, and what that does also, because you're trying to get those sales tax producing businesses, you end up disincentivizing housing because it doesn't provide sales tax, and it's an actual drain on general
Your
fund
services,
as opposed to be a positive,
cost
because
of services.
property taxes, almost all of that goes to somewhere else besides the city. That's your land use planning
Yeah.
seminar for today.
What that district is.
Okay, so those were the big rock scenarios that I thought would be a great discussion. So before, this only slide I have on sales tax, so going once, going twice. Okay. Looking at our multi-year forecast. So as of the proposed budget submission, this is our forecast. We look backwards, we see the current year we're in with the one-time deficit, a good year the year before that, and then our 2 years of deficit that we have solved at this point. Then moving forward, we see over the next 5 years with the proposed budget. Now remember, the proposed budget at this point does not have our upcoming labor negotiations for fiscal year 26-27, nor any of those future years. So once that's factored in, and you'll see this if we have the information at final budget, those deficits, absent any other major changes in revenues or expenses, will decrease. So we are getting thinner and thinner with our surplus projections. General fund reserve estimates. This is a glimpse at what we have estimated for the budget in terms of adhering to our financial management policy. So our economic contingencies reserve is based on 40% of our estimated sales tax. That's gone up just a little bit year over year of $3.175 million. The unfunded employee liability remains at $500,000. We have a new restricted reserve now that we have a 115 trust for pension, and there's the $1 million that we recently allocated to the new investment. And we have a restricted self-insurance fund for our shared insurance pool costs of $700,000. Our policy says that our general fund reserves need to be at 25% of our total estimated expenditures, and that is currently in the proposed budget, the $5.375 million. So that will change not only with final budget, but as we finalize the current fiscal year 25-26 and the fund balance that we need to use to cover that 1 year situation will determine if we need to replenish reserves or what we need to do with respect to adhering to our policy. This chart summarizes all of our funds, not just the general fund, but it shows our airport fund and sewer fund as well are using reserves, going from 3.4 down to 2.9 for airport, and similar situation for sewer. All of our other funds have reserves. The two that I mentioned earlier are ending reserves or in the negative, that school park and closed landfill. Otherwise, reserves are trending as expected for our other funds. And without, be remiss if not talking about a couple of our other funds, not just the general fund, since this is the citywide budget. So I'm highlighting just 3 more slides of our budget. So the airport fund, total expenditures just under $2 million. 53% of that is planned capital projects. I've listed them there. Total revenues of just under $1.5 million. Most of that comes from land, rents, and leases, 58%. And then the rest is grants, 21%, and use of reserves. The sewer fund, $8.5 million in expenditures. Lion's share of that is for the contract to maintain and operate the wastewater treatment plant. There's also 33% of that for capital projects for lift station repairs, annual rehabilitation. We have a Borland sewer project on the list as well. Debt service payments, we have 2 debts that we pay for previous infrastructure investments in the sewer fund, and that makes up 10% of total expenditures. On the revenue side, 93% of revenues, which is most all of it, are the sewer service charges that are on the property tax bills. Interest is interesting for this fund, so we invest all of our money that we don't need on a daily basis in our various investments such as camp and LAIF. And half of our returns that we get end up being posted to the sewer fund because the sewer fund is so large. And so that's just an interesting tidbit, is that we're not just investing our funds for purposes of the general fund, we're required to allocate it out fairly to all of our other funds, and sewer is the recipient. Almost $1 million is planned use of reserves in the sewer fund. And then rounding out our largest funds, the transportation, transit, and gas tax collectively, those funds have $2.7 million in total revenues. That is comprised of gas tax, state and local transportation and transit allocations, rider fees, and those are restricted. Those funds that come in are restricted to expenditures to maintain the streets and transit services. Total expenditures for those 3 funds are comprised, 38% goes to our roads. We have road overlay and the maintenance, such as the sidewalks, curbs, and gutters that add to that, of just over $1 million there. $300,000 plus another $110,000 for street lighting, sign and signal maintenance. That's 15% of the total. Transit personnel is 22% of the total. And the bus stop improvements is a one-time grant for structures and solar improvements for those bus stops. Our remaining funds are highlighted here, so they are all our special revenue funds. We talked about gas, transportation, and transit, but this is just a summary of all of our other budgets coming forward by fund. Our appropriations limit, another requirement that we have to publish and calculate every year, is $28.3 million. And what that is that all governments are required to have a limit on the amount of the tax proceeds that they can spend every year. We are well within that, we're well under rather, and we always have been. We will only spend $14.8 million of its tax proceeds, and that's everything that we get. But we could go up to $28 million if we had that. Next steps. So we're going to bring back the budget for final adoption on June 22nd. Again, we have the transparency website that's updated incrementally as we make major budget changes and approvals. We'll return with our preliminary fiscal year end results for 25-26 and then return to council as needed. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Do we have questions from council? Andy? Okay. Alice?
I don't have any questions. I know we went over many of these figures just at our quarterly, so I asked those in.
Good. Right, good. All right. Thank you so much. Do we need, you need some action. Do we need action? Public comment? Seeing none. Do we have a motion?
I'll move by resolution approve the City of Auburn 2026-27 proposed budget in the total amount of $33,456,954 to include A through F on the packet.
On the agenda, yeah, I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Amara?
Yes.
Dowden Calvillo?
Aye.
Holmes?
Aye.
Riddell Harris?
Aye.
Mayor Davis?
Aye. Budget passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our city manager report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So last Thursday, on May 28th, I was able to speak at on a panel. This is the 4th time I've done this panel at the Roseville Area Chamber of Commerce's Placer Valley. This is Placer Valley 26. Last year was 2025. This time it was on the main stage instead of in a little breakout room. So it was on a panel in front of like 500 people, which was fun. me and the other city managers talking and kind of giving each other grief about different issues. So that was a good one. It's a good event for just going and meeting with like business people and then kind of the networking stuff, talking to people, and hopefully bringing some folks up to Auburn. We'll make this short. Let's see what else we got. On the police department side, so we've had a couple of bear sightings. So basically throughout the community, including near residential neighborhoods and local schools. Last week, I believe it was up by Placer High School. Police department's been coordinating with the Department of Fish and Wildlife regarding those response protocols and public safety messaging. We're reminding folks to remove potential food sources, which includes bird feeders. They like to get into the seeds and all that stuff, as one of our council members can attest. Make sure to secure your trash cans and all that stuff. You can get safety information, prevention tips, contact information for the Fish and Wildlife Department. It's been shared on the city's or on the department's Facebook page.
Mr. City Manager, I just had a quick question.
Sure.
I had heard some complaints before from some residents about not being able to get bear boxes through the waste department.
Ecology.
Recology, sorry, I couldn't think about it. Couldn't think of the name off the top of my head. But yeah, I think that I've heard that they don't give them and they're having to use like chains and all kinds of things to keep bears out. But is it possible for us to talk to them about the ability of doing bear boxes since they are such a big
I'll follow up
issue?
with the general manager and see if
Yeah,
there's something we
thank
can
you
do.
very much, because I had a resident, one of my neighbors talked about the same thing, that, I mean, in our neighborhood, you have to get up really early to put your can out, like 4:30 in the morning. And so there was some discussion about even having services later, which I'm not sure they're able to do just with their routes. But people have come up with all kinds of jerry-rigging their garbage.
We had an issue with that
toter.
at the cabin that my family owns outside of Sonora, and the bear box fixed it. So I feel like we have especially Roby Point has such a bear
Yeah,
issue.
right.
It seems like it's a valid thing for us to be requesting. And
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else,
And if
at
we
least
don't do
over in that
that, they're
neighborhood.
going to get acclimated and it's going to be worse.
Yeah,
It's part of
it's
the
really
problem
bad in our
because
I
they-
mean, I have to put my garbage can in, it has to be in the garage all the time.
Yeah, they get acclimated to the food source and just show up all the time. I'll follow up with the new GM over there.
Thank you.
Sure. And then just kind of last but not least, obviously, June work anniversaries. Tim Percival in our Public Works Department, 12 years of service. Jasmine Zavala in dispatch, 8 years of service. She's the dispatcher that I sat with for 2 hours and was like super impressed at the ability to multitask. I thought I was good at that stuff, but she's like amazing. We have one of our reserve officers, 3 years of service as Dean Sege, and then me, 3 years of service, I think on the 12th or the 16th, somewhere around there, halfway through the month at least. I can answer, the other thing, next week's meeting, the regular meeting, which this meeting is taking place and replacing. So next week is canceled. June 22nd, regular council meeting will be held. The first meeting in July will be held, and then the second meeting in July will be canceled for vacations. I can answer questions if you have questions. Right.
Right, any questions for our city manager? No? All right, future agenda items, discussion and identification of topics that require attention in upcoming meetings. This section allows council members to propose new ideas, unresolved issues, or projects that need further planning or discussion. Any requests from council? All right. And finally, city council committee reports. The purpose of these reports is to provide council members with an opportunity to inform the city council and public about projects and programs discussed during committee and commission meetings. Any updates?
I'll just make it fast. There's goats off of Maidu, so come see them. They're doing a good job. Porch Fest is coming up in October, but they're having some previews. And then every Friday, there's music on the square, Central Square. Try and come. It's wonderful, different musicians every Friday, every week. And then the sustainability met, and the big push, of course, is the lawn replacement. Thank you, everybody that's helping. And I can go into a lot of other things, but that's the main thing.
Alice, any updates?
I just wanted to say, it looked like the party yesterday with the Auburn Bike Month celebration went really well at Old Town Pizza and Two Ass Brewery. I think it was kind of in between. I was just able to see the pictures because I was, of course, in New York, but fabulous job, and people looked like they were having a fabulous time. So thank you to our mayor, and thanks to all those who participated in that. I just wanted to report that I did have the opportunity to serve as the co-chair for CalCCA's annual conference in Sacramento, myself and the chair of YOLO Clean Energy, and had an opportunity to address the group. Actually, we weren't really co-chair, we were welcomers, I guess. In any event, we were co-chairing. 700 individuals. It was a great conference, learned a lot. There are 25 CCAs in the state of California. And we had a panel with our CEOs. Don Eckert did a great job. And one thing I was really proud about for us is that Pioneer really talked about not just saving our ratepayers money, which is our big priority and number one priority. We also talked about our ability to get engaged in economic development and work as an economic engine and trying to bring businesses to our jurisdictions because our power costs are less. So he was really the only one that was up there on that stage talking about that. So I was very proud of that, and it was a great conference. So thank you.
Thank you. Adding to that, I would like to say Bike Month was a success. We had a great party, and we had great representation at our events from On Demand and Endurance Capital Committee. So lots of maps and info were handed out. So I appreciate both those representations and Public Works with barricades and all that help, and police, everybody. It was a team effort, so thank you. I was able to sit in for PCTPA last week, and the county approved their first countywide active transportation plan. So in a coordination with Auburn, we have now a very robust and comprehensive active transportation plan, so that's great. And then Bridget did share the June 23rd tile unveiling celebration for Shack. And every Saturday during the summer at 9 a.m. in Central Square, they're doing tile tours. So you can show up and have a little tile tour. It's very cool. That's all. Oh, and can I share about ARD? Yeah, so last week at the ARD board meeting, they approved a $500 donation to the fireworks. So that greatly appreciated, and I hope they can come. So thank you if you're watching.
How close are we to the 20,000?
We have a Give Butter campaign out that's basically donate online. That's raised a little bit of money, not a whole lot. And I'm going to start beating bushes to talk to people to get additional funding now. I haven't had time yet.
So we have 500?
We have 500. We have about $700.
Okay.
But I'll be reaching out to folks this week.
Thank you.
Rachel, any updates?
My main update was the children that were here this evening.
You did great.
so.
I love the children. Thank you. Mike? Updates? Do you have any updates? All right. Any other further questions, concerns, or comments? Seeing none, we will close this meeting at 8:47. Thank you.